Let's talk kingdom. He's the one you can lean on. He don't change, he stays the same. Won't find a better reason, no. So come tap in, just listen. And bring a friend, let's spread this vision. Let's talk kingdom. He's the one you can lean on. He don't change, he stays the same. Won't find a better reason, no. So come tap in, just listen. And bring a friend, let's spread this vision.
And shalom to everyone. Great to have you with us today. Welcome to, again, the Bible study that we have here midweek in the Rosh Kingdom Ministries, overseen, of course, and governed by VWJ Ministries right here at your something. We're right here with you right now. VWJ Ministries and DKM Ministries, sharing again tonight about a issue of what's of significance. We call it the tour of duty. It's called eschatology. Many people talk about eschatology, but very few people really understand it, know how to articulate and or express it with respects to what must happen in the end days, last times that we are in today. And we want to pick up right where we left off. Listen, if you guys are coming in on our Facebook or our Clubhouse, I want you guys to take opportunity to share this if you want to. Those of you who are in the arena of the video feeds, please make sure you make comment, share. Was it like, comment, and share? I think I got it. Like, comment, and share. 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 They say if you say it 7 times, you really won't forget it. So one more time. Like, comment, and share. All right. So that's what we got. You should do that right now. Make a comment. Let us know where you're from. Let us know where you're hailing from, whatever country you're in, city, state, province, or wherever you may be coming from, parish, within your country, and or this globe. Let us know where you're coming from. We'd love to hear from you and get back to you as best we can. Let's take a moment to pray, shall we? Father, we come before you in the mighty name of our Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach, thanking you for all things true, all things you. We're believing and trusting right now that your word from blood-washed hearts, we repent. Everybody right now do this. Say, Yahweh, I repent for my sins. I come to you right now asking for your blood to cleanse, purify. Of my own volition, I surrender to you. I ask you now in the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach that you would grace me with your spirit and your wisdom. Keep me in a place where I can be with you, in you, through you, and toward you. I decrease all things that are me, that you would increase in this world, that I might be a better administrator and a better, as we love to say, ambassador of your kingdom in the earth. Today, your salvation is everything. Yahweh, we believe Yeshua lived, died, and rose again by your great power. And we're asking you to guide us in all things. We believe he lived, he died, and rose again. And we know he sits in your right hand making intercession for us. So I decrease all things VW, that Adonai would increase, and your people and I be fed and educated along the ways of your kingdom. In the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we pray, and we all say, Amen. Have you shared it yet? Did you make a comment yet? Did you do that? Try it. All right, so listen, we're going to pick up where we left off last week. We have left the board as it is, directly from where we dropped off last week. As you know, we're talking about future things. So those of you on Clubhouse, if you want to view what's going on, you're going to have to go to VWJ Ministries on Facebook or VWJ Ministries on YouTube to get this and get it in your psyche, get it in your sights so you can see it and thereby you can get the visual that you need. Now, we left off with future things. I'll also share this on the Facebook page with you all. We're in part 4. We talked about initially the future things. The first thing is the rapture of the church. Second thing is the revelation of the anti-Messiah. Third thing is the revelation of the 144,000. The fourth thing, which is where we are right now, is the great tribulation. Now, we went through these things very quickly. The rapture of the church had to deal with 1 Thessalonians, the trump of God shall sound, the dead in Messiah shall rise first, and they that are alive and remain shall be caught up together to meet him in the air, forever be with him. Then you would find out that there was going to be great signs. Matthew chapter 24, we find that there's going to be a sign of the abomination of the desolation. Now, we talk about that. That abomination of desolation brings the future things part 2 into play, which is the revelation of the anti-Messiah, i.e. the Antichrist, as some call it. But we do believe that the Messiah is what that is. So now in 1st, 2nd Thessalonians, you'll find out that he's going to come just like it was expressed and talked about in the book of Daniel. He's going to show himself very soon. We know that that's the reality of what you're looking at. And if you pay attention to what the Pope is doing over there right now in Rome and the Vatican, the laws and the things he's trying to impact globally, as well as within the Roman Church, we might not have to worry about and wonder who the anti-Messiah is. I pretty much believe it's going to come from the Roman Catholic Church. No doubt about it in my heart. I believe that anti-Messiah is going to be someone who actually dies, and they're going to be old enough to die. And then there will be the power of the beast, the dragon, given to the beast to literally resurrect the representative of all things religion and bring them back into fruition. It looks a lot like the Pope. And then the false prophets look like, again, another faith system of the monarch, or the mono. How do I say this without being disrespectful? We have a theo and we have a mono. We have a element within Father Abraham, the patriarch Abraham, that there are 3 of the main monotheisms. There are the 3 main monotheisms come from Abraham. Out of one, Christendom, will come the anti-Messiah. Out of one will come the false prophet, and out of another will come the Messiah. Yeah, I paused for a reason because I don't think everybody caught that. Out of Patriarch Abraham, there will be a manifestation in these last days of both the anti-Messiah from one of these monotheisms, Christendom, Judaism, and Islam. Let me repeat. Abraham is responsible for 3. Let me put it on the board. I want y'all to catch this. Abraham's life is responsible for 3. Now, I'm going to put this on the board so you guys can see it. I'm going to take a few minutes to break this down to y'all as we get rid of the rest of this and move on to another part of this. So out of Abraham, putting his name on the board, Abraham. Abraham has 3 monotheisms he is responsible for. One of them is for Islam, Ishmael. That comes from Father Abraham because of a relationship with Ishmael. Then you have what is known as the line of the Messiah will come from. And that, beloved, is what we call right now, presently, not what it was supposed to be, but we call it Judaism, right? And then you have this third one out here, which everybody knows about. It's called Christendom. Got it? So we have Christendom. Can't spell it. So you have Christendom, you have Islam, you have Judaism. Those are the 3 main monotheisms in the world. There are other polytheisms, which mean there are multiple gods that they serve. You have Greek mythology, you have Catholicism, which is a part of Christianity, just splintered out of that. But here's the catch. In these 3, you are going to have these elements produced. Pay attention. Watch this. Out of Islam, we believe will be the false prophet. Their whole system is about this prophet, right? Everything you read about is about this prophet and what goes on with that. Out of Judaism, out of Ulda, you know, the Messiah, the true Mashiach will come. This is a fact. Out of Judaism, Abraham's middle monotheism, comes that. Judaism is what spawned Christianity. Christianity was a hijack of Judaism under an oppression of Rome, in which they made a pontiff. In their pontiff, now you have what's known as the anti or the fake Messiah. So out of Christendom comes the anti-Mashiach, out of Judaism comes the Mashiach, out of Islam becomes the false prophet. Each one of these elements, each one of these individuals will be in, as you and I are now approaching, this eschatological moment, this prophecy moment. They are a part of everything you and I are understanding that is the end times. So we have the anti-Messiah, which will come out of Christendom. I believe that he will be the Pope. The Pope will die. What makes him look like the Messiah is that he will resurrect from the dead. That's because, as you're reading in Revelations, and we taught you in part 3 of this, that there are things that will happen in the end where the dragon and the beast, which are against Elohim, right, will war against the people of Elohim during the rapture. And then there will be, please catch this, the giving of power to the dead element who is running the one world order after, in fact, we have the rapture take place, a false peace kick in, and then the abomination of desolation. That's where we are. The abomination of desolation is the revealing of the anti-Messiah. Now, the anti-Messiah, abomination of desolation, happens in the Great Tribulation, right? 3.5 years into the 7-year period of tribulation is the Great Tribulation. The abomination of desolation will happen when this person who has set forth what is considered to be a one world order, one world religion, one world faith, one world finance, and settle to a one sense of peace, bringing all faiths on the planet together into one. He will then go to, in an act of peace, in demonstration of his authority, then dedicate the temple that Israel will rebuild unto Yahweh as a token of global kindness. This person running this false narrative will then go to dedicate the temple and literally desecrate the temple just by crossing the threshold. That is the abomination of desolation. And by doing so, the anti-Messiah will be revealed. The eyes of Israel, who've gotten into bed with this guy since the rapture, are going to be open. Those that are working in the field, don't come back to the house. Those of you that are up on top of the house, don't come down and grab anything out of the house. Pray, ladies, that they are not in the time where they have born children and babies are on the pap, because you're going to have to run to the rock called Petra, and you're going to now realize that who you made your allegiance to was the false, the anti-Messiah. So now you'll be 3.5 years in the series of tribulation where you're going to be ministered to and witnessed to by the 144,000. That's what we talk about next in this process. Once you've understood the anti-Messiah, now you realize that there's going to be the revelation of who the 144,000 are. They will be 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes, ministering to anybody and everybody on the planet, those who have never heard the gospel first and foremost, and then those who are of Israel descent, Israel bloodline, who have not made Messiah their choice. They will be ministered to by these 144,000 and the 2 prophets of Elohim that shall come, which will be Moshe and Elijah. One has power over fire, one has power over the water, and then they will be accosted by, in fact, the beast. And the beast of that day of the tribulation will war against these 2 prophets, kill them, and then the people shall brandish their bodies in the streets, desecrate them, never give them a proper burial, any of that, as well as people of Israel who say, we see he's the anti-Messiah. We made the mistake of thinking that Yeshua was not the actual Messiah. We recant. They that come to the fact that Messiah is Messiah, the anti-Messiah has revealed himself. They walk away from him. They will then, in this 3.5 year period of time, be martyred. Their blood shall be under the altar. That's what you're going to read about in Revelations chapters 3, 8, 11, 9. All right. So in that, You had all of that going on at this point, and that's before we get to the Battle of Armageddon. But right now we're in the Great Tribulation, and we're telling you about who's going to be revealed, and that's going to be the 144,000. And now in the Great Tribulation, we're going to talk about what it looks like. So last week, I want y'all to tell me, invite people up on platform, give them microphones, please. I don't know where all our people are. Nobody's here today. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're going to keep moving. So Yahweh be praised. All right. Well, Clubhouse, set in their own place. Okay, we know what to do with it now. So I want you guys to get this. How many of you are realizing that the anti-Messiah and the element of the 144,000 during the Great Tribulation period will create some issues? How many of y'all was with us last week when we read Revelations chapter 6, 8, and 9? Did you guys learn a reason or two why not to be here after the rapture takes place? Anybody? Yeah. Did y'all read about the locusts? Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. That'll do it for you. All right, you guys might want to invite somebody in, though. I'm gonna see how many people are actually interested in this kind of teaching. Everybody's in their own world doing their own thing. But if you are a citizen of this Kingdom Post of VWJ Ministries and/or Daraj Kingdom Ministries, this is one of your mandatory classes for your citizenship in this coursing. Not even the Shabbat. That's just what you do because you're in Sabbath. But what we do for a group and becoming VWJ and DKM is we fellowship Sunday, tomorrow after Sabbath, and Wednesday. That's the midweek Bible study. All the other elements that we do all the week long, those are your choice. This is a part of your, as we call it, citizenship responsibilities to be here for those days. Your citizenship responsibilities for the kingdom are you honoring Shabbat, however you do that. So the Sabbath worship that you guys join us with on Friday at sundown and then Saturday at 11 a.m., those are me opening my studies to you. Those are not. Matter of fact, let me shift the study today. We're going to shift the study. I want to make this clear for all of you that are here. Thank you, Ruach. Do that. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, so let me be very clear to everybody who's a part of VWJ Ministries and a part of DKM Ministries. Your service, as many of you already know, but there's been a lot of misguided information out there about what we do and how we do it when you do it. So your service times are actually going to be and always will be Sunday, which is the morrow after Sabbath service. I want to share that with you and let you know that. This is when you actually are here with the group. This is where you're going to learn where we're going, what we're teaching, what the doctrine of this organization is, along with our Wednesday night Bible study. Now, our Wednesday night Bible study is when you learn also what we're studying, what Yahweh is pushing and teaching us, and then we break that down. Presently in the Wednesday night Bible study, we're teaching you about eschatology, the tour of duty, and we're in part 6. However, a lot of people think that because you're in the ministry with us at DKM Ministries, that the Sabbath, Friday at 11 p.m., and then Saturday at 11 a.m. are mandatory services. And they are not. The Sabbath is your commandment of Elohim. And so we don't serve you on those days. We study together on those days. So the understanding of what the ministry does, we don't, just because we have the BBC, which is the Bible Book Club every Thursday, and we have another program for the world called The Proceeding Word, where we talk about our faith in every possible aspect of life. Those are not the mandates for VWJ or DKM Ministries. The citizenship requirements are for, again, the Sunday service, the morrow after Sabbath service, as well as the midweek Bible Book Club, the Bible study, midweek Bible study. Those are the mandates for citizenship and how we operate as a citizen of VWJ and DKM. Those you don't want to miss. You can miss Proceeding Word. It's not a mandate for your citizenship. You can even miss Bible Book Club. It's great stuff you're learning, but it's not your mandate. You're not obligated to be here. Then you also are not obligated to be here on what we know as the Sabbath. Now, what do you mean? I thought we were Sabbath keepers. Exactly. And as Sabbath keepers, we don't have church on Sabbath. And just because I open up and have a study room for you all to come in and enjoy the studies that I am going through, and I open them up to share them with many of you who are converted, some of you who are citizens of VWJ and DKM Ministries, I have been told, and I know for the last 2 decades, how difficult it is during Sabbath to stay focused. So I don't serve you, but we do help by having technology the way we have it availed to us today. And we would then take, by technology, my personal study time, and to help people stay focused in Sabbath to do what Sabbath requires, I open up my study by way of technology. You're still in your home. You're still in your rest place. You're still in your residence. You've not disobeyed the commandment of Yahweh. But that's not the mandatory service. That's why we're on for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, 7 hours twice a day. Because we got 24 hours to fill with knowing his word. So I'm going to tell you now, we're going to not do future things today. So let me erase off the board so y'all don't get twisted and conflicted about it. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to deviate from our programming tonight to give you a follow-up on this, because I want you all to be crystal clear on what we do in this. And though it's a private meeting we would usually have, and we do have, this study will be up here today for you so that you understand the need for our fellowships together, and when you are to be and when you should be here together as a people who believe in this ministry. So your mandate ministry times are tomorrow after service, tomorrow after Sabbath, MAS, tomorrow after Sabbath, and that's of course on Sunday. Then you have the Wednesday Bible study. That is on Wednesday. This tells you what the ministry is doing. This is where citizenship gathers. The other elements that we do have within the ministry are ancillary items. The first one is Bible Book Club, BBC, and that's on Thursday nights. Then we have also our Sabbath Midrash. It is a free will study. It happens on Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m.-ish. Let me put that up here real good so y'all can see it. Friday, 11 a.m.-ish. I keep wanting to write an H. I'm sorry, guys. Friday at 11. Let me go this way. 11 a.m., p.m., and I'm going to put the word ish on it. All right. You know why it's ish, guys? Because the commandment to keep Shabbat is a commandment. Can I get a reader to help me with this? Can I get somebody to go to Exodus chapter 16? I need another person who could read for me and go to Shemot, Exodus chapter number 20. Can someone help me real quick? I need a volunteer. Please let me know quickly. Yes, yes, I can do it. No, I can't do it. Yes, say your name if you can. Come on. Veronica and C. Mystique. Thank you very much. All right, C. Mystique, you got 16. Veronica, you got 20. So if you don't mind, I want y'all to read loud because we got to make sure that people hear you. This is what we do here in this ministry, in this citizenship. Everybody said, Apostle, you know we are actually doing studies every single solitary day of the week. You really are, because we also have a secondary element of our ministry that we love so very much, and that is called the proceeding word. We call that PW. So the proceeding word is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So technically, Apostle Jones is teaching and is in some kind of a service and broadcast every day of the week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 7 days. We don't do anything on Tuesdays because that's my days for counseling, a part of my days for counseling and other things. So we are very busy every week with some form of broadcast. But here are the mandatory services for the citizenship of DKM and VWJ Ministries. That is Tomorrow After Sabbath study and Bible study. Both of those are the ministries' citizenships for when we gather. One is on Sunday, one is on Wednesday, and you're in one right now. So if you're a citizen of this ministry, this is the service you want to make sure you're in, as well as our Sunday. Now, the services that benefit, edify, enhance your life, which is a commodity to the ministry that you have, are services and broadcasts and teachings that happen to correlate with bringing and edifying your life. One of them is done during a commandment of Elohim. But the commandment is not to have a service. The commandment is to speak only the words of Elohim. And that commandment is the Sabbath. That Sabbath day, amongst all the days that we do what we do, that Sabbath day, which is Saturday and Friday, Friday and Saturday, is the day that's a commandment. Command. Got it? It's a command. Now, why is that significant? Preceding word is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's just me chopping up, trying to keep the people of practical applications who are kingdom-minded, practical in everyday life. Then we have the Bible Book Club. That's helping people who want to have a better theological understanding of the Bible learn a high-quality education of Bible theocratic theology studies. That's what that does. And then the preceding word again is all issues, all days, right? Now, the Sabbath study, Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m.-ish, Saturday, 11 p.m. I said that backwards. So Friday's 11 p.m. I got them backwards. Friday's 11 p.m. because it's at night waiting for the West Coast, right? Friday is 11 p.m. Saturday is 11 a.m.-ish. These times allow us to study with everybody at some point around the globe during the Sabbath and help keep people focused on what they're supposed to do on the Sabbath. I need a third reader. I'll be that third reader, actually. Wanda. Thank you, Minister Wanda. Isaiah 58, 13, 14. So here is why we do what we do, so you understand what the citizenship of this ministry is to do. Tomorrow after Sabbath, Sunday, Bible study Wednesday. That's when you're supposed to be here. These other ones, these are fills for your life. They edify your life. You benefit from being here. Trust me, you want to, but that's the mandate for citizenship. These, you're not obligated to do them, but you are drastically benefited by them. Sabbath is a commandment. So we don't really do it unless we are doing what it requires. So if you'll read for me, I think Marie has 16. Yes. Pause, Marie. Then I need you, Veronica, to go with number 20, verse 8, and read loud, please.
And Yahweh said unto Moses.
Pardon me. Who? You have 16 or you got 20? Okay, Veronica, where are you at?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. 20, please. Verse 8 through 11. Go.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Citizenship for this ministry operates on tomorrow after Sabbath service. That's a Sunday. And Bible study. That's a Wednesday. Today. That's the citizenship's requirement, right? Now, Sabbath is a commandment. Read, Minister Veronica.
6 days shall you labor and do all your work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh, your Elohim. In it you shall not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger that is within your gates. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day.
So Exodus chapter 20 tells you that Yahweh has given you this day. Read that last sentence. Go.
Wherefore Yahweh blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
So Yahweh blessed the Sabbath day and he hallowed it. Got it? That's what you're here for. That's what you do. That's what the Sabbath is about. You don't go to church. Let me prove to you that you don't go to church on that seventh day Sabbath. Everybody go to Exodus chapter 16. Miss C. Marie, would you read Exodus chapter 16, verse number 27 through 30? Thank you. Everybody, I'm going to pull it up on the screen so you have it live, but you're going to hear it read as well. Would you read that for us too, please? Go.
And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the seventh day to gather, and they found none. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, how long refuse ye to keep my commandment and my laws? See, for Yahweh has given you the Sabbath. Therefore he is giving you on the sixth day the bread for 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the seventh day.
So verse 29 says, see that Yahweh has given you the Sabbath. Therefore he gives you on day 6 bread enough for 2 days. Therefore abide ye every man in his place on the Sabbath. Let no man go out of his place on the seventh day. Verse 30 says what?
So the people rested on the seventh day.
So the people rested on the seventh day. Now, this is a significant thing because you got to pay attention to what Yahweh has done here. He has told you very clearly that on day number 7, it is for you to rest in him because he rested. So if on day 7, Yahweh doesn't want the Levites to leave their house. He doesn't want the priest to leave his house. He doesn't want Moshe to leave his house. He doesn't want anyone leaving their house on the 7th day. Somebody say the 7th day is a commandment.
The seventh day is a commandment.
So our citizenship in this particular kingdom fellowship is that we gather mandatorily for service on morrow after Sabbath and Bible study. That's when the ministry requirements are. Your faith requirement is that you comply with the commandments of Yahweh for the Sabbath day. So on the Sabbath day, you don't leave your home. On the Sabbath day, you don't do any work. On the Sabbath day, you don't go to church on the Sabbath day. However, you study the Sabbath day. Now, what does that look like? Minister Wanda, would you bring us into the Isaiah chapter 58? For those of you that are watching on screen, too much noise. I'll bring it to you right now. Everybody's there. Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13 through 14. Minister Wanda, would you read that, please?
Yes. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of Yahweh, honorable, and shalt honor him, not doing thy own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words.
Okay, so on that day, you are not to do any of your own stuff, do your own pleasure, speak your own words. So you're only supposed to be speaking Yahweh and Elohim's words on the days of his Shabbat. So therefore, you don't go to church on that day. See, Marie, would you read Exodus 16 again, verse number 30, verse number 29? You don't go nowhere on the Sabbath, guys.
See for that Yahweh has given you the Sabbath. Therefore he gives you on the 6th day the bread for 2 days. Abide ye every man.
Say it again.
See, for Yahweh has given you the Sabbath. Therefore he has given you on the 6th day bread for 2 days. Abide ye every man.
Say that. Say abide again.
Abide ye every man in his place.
Let no man go out of his place on the seventh day. And verse 30 says, so the people complied. They rested on the seventh day. They did not go out of their homes. They did not go out of their space. They rested on the seventh day. They left their houses. They didn't stay inside their houses like hermits. They all had property. They didn't live in apartments, as it were. They had property wherever they had power of, and they had boundaries for what they called their residence, their domicile. That's what they roamed. So if they had 100 acres, they roamed the 100 acres. They had 10 acres, they roamed their 8 acre, 10 acres. If they had a house, it was just on 1 acre, a quarter acre, whatever was their deed, whatever they had a contract for, that was their residence. They were not to leave that border of their residence. But you did not go to church. So again, for people who are citizens of VWJ Ministries and DKM Ministries, understand the days you are responsible as a citizen to gather are the high holy days of the Moedim, and these 2 days, Sunday, which is tomorrow after Sabbath, today, which is Wednesday midweek Bible study. That is your citizen obligation. The other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 services in the week, you're not obligated to be there. Will they bless you immensely? Absolutely. Will they give your soul what you need to thrive and to make it and to be blessed? Will you learn and be educated better than you went to Christian college? Yes, you will. Do you want to get this stuff? It's even available to you on replay. You can go to the archives and get it, and you don't have to pay a dime for it. There is no charge. There is no fee. You are a citizen of this kingdomship. It's available to you because this kingdom outposts of Elohim's kingdom and your citizenship to know what we're doing. We talk about that on Sundays and Wednesdays. To understand who he is, all of these days and these programs that your apostle and pastor happens to talk about, that is ancillary, but I promise you it is very edifying. So in this ministry, you only go to church 2 days, and then you don't leave your house to do that. So people who are confused for some reason about when you do and when you don't, what you do and what you don't do with VWJ and DKM Ministries, we only require you to be here for tomorrow after Sabbath, Bible studies, and the Moedim. You know what the Moedim are, people? Well, here are the Moedim. The Moedim are these days that Yahweh has put into place and said that these are days we are to honor him. This particular year, you will be doing this gathering on April the 4th at sundown, April the 5th at sundown, April the 6th at sundown, April the 11th at sundown, May the 25th at sundown, September the 15th at sundown, September the 24th at sundown, September the 29th at sundown, and October 16th at sundown. These are the Moedim. They're called Pesach, Hag Matzah, Hag Bikurim, Hag Shavut. You're also this called Yom Teruah, Yom Kippur, and Hag Sukkah. These are the 9 times. So you gather for these ministry requirements and the Moedim. Moedim. 9 days in 365 days of the year. These are the times you are citizenship oriented. This is what you do as a citizen of this place. That's your mandate. All of these other things down here in blue, as cute and nice as they are ancillary. You are not obligated to attend them. So don't think that you waste time being here with us and missing time with your family. And these things are accessible on your smartphones. You can watch us just like you watch everything else you watch on YouTube, everything else you watch on Facebook, all of your TikToking time. We don't have our own app. We should, but that's just what this is. These are tools for you. So when you come together on our meetings on Sundays and Wednesdays and the Moedim, you know what's going on with the kingdom and where we're going as a narrative of Elohim in the earth. However, Bible Book Club helps you understand how to read your Bible. Sabbath worship, well, that helps you how to learn how to pray and talk and have a better relationship with the Father and be restored because you stayed home on Sabbath. But when you're on Sabbath for 24 hours staying in your property, sometimes you lose your direction. Sometimes you lose your attention. Sometimes anything else can get your attention. And the commandment says that you and I are not to speak our own words, do our own thing. It's right here. Look at it very clearly. It sits right here in front of us. He tells you in Isaiah chapter and number 58, you are not to do anything on the Sabbath day other than speak his words. Keep your mind on him. If you turn away your foot from Sabbath, not to do your own pleasure on my holy day, call the Sabbath a delight, call it holy, call it honorable, and honor him by not doing your own way, not finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own words, then you're found as delighting in Yahweh. So the commandment of Yahweh, who is our Elohim, is that on Sabbath, you don't go to church. You don't leave your residence. You are to not work, bring work in. So you don't go to church. How in the world are we going to have a church service with you on Sabbath? It's an ancillary thing, but it is a very edifying thing. But we make my study available to you. That's why we say 11 p.m., 11 a.m.-ish. That's whenever Yahweh releases me from my Sabbath obligation to him, my Sabbath worship of him. And I do that because I know how difficult it is to stay focused in your mind on all things Torah. Some of you have gone out and started rooms, and you're in error because you're starting rooms and you're having conversations about being church people, and you've left the Torah because you want to talk about what the church did or did not do for you and how you ended up not knowing all this, and you mad about this and mad about that. And then you go into these testimonial services that don't glorify the Torah, don't bring it back to the Torah, and now you're not doing the commandment of Isaiah 58:13. You're speaking other words. You're not focusing on his word. You want to teach what this is or what that is. You're not there for that. You're there to know what Yahweh is, and you're there to read his Torah. So to stay focused on that, I open my studies up and say, hey guys, I'm going to keep it Torah. You can come and study with me. I'm not serving you. There is no service here. There is a fellowship here. So you guys are now to a point where you have gotten to a place, because we've made it so easy, that our citizenship thinks that, okay, well, if Apostle doesn't show up at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday or 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, we're supposed to do something like that. No. Because the moment you say, well, Apostle is late coming up at 11 p.m. or Apostle is late getting at 11 a.m., you know, he leaving us hanging, he all late and everything, and what kind of stuff is this? It ain't a service. It's not a service. It's my free studies I'm opening the world to. So whenever he releases me to study and start studying outside of what we're studying with privately, I can say, hey, guys, let's stay focused. AM-ish. PM-ish, whenever he releases me, and you are not obligated to show up. So to be sitting there at your computer waiting for it to go live on that day is very nice. It's cool. You know what you're going to get. But the moment you think, because we're not doing it, you should make a substitute because there are people waiting for Apostle to show up, so you're going to do one so that people don't have to wait on Apostle to show up. You make service happen. You now become service oriented. You now put whatever time you want to put on a program. So when you do that, you do contrary to his instruction. Because we do the defaults that we've always learned in Christendom. Sabbath is not an actual service. Sabbath is a time we worship. We learn him. We sit still. We learn him. The moment you put together a program, we came up over decades about when Yahweh usually releases me from getting up at my time on Sabbath in the morning, and then I pray and study, and then I'm free. He releases me from being on my knees or being in my personal study, and then I can go on different little study things. Usually around 11 p.m. it happens because I'll start praying at Sabbath. And then 11 p.m. I'm open up. It happened to correlate with the time that the West Coast had been coming into their Sabbath. So I said, well, I can open up, well, we're new to this and we don't know what to do. How do we pray? Fine. You know what, guys, I'll already be doing this. So I just follow, just join me over here in this place. I'll be there for you. I'll be right there for you. Y'all, you can come in and study with me. I'll be studying. Together, we'll talk, we'll share what we're supposed to do so you can stay focused on Torah. Now what happens is you become complacent and you become trying to do this every week, and you think that that's just there. You do it every single solitary week. And you're like, okay, well, if we're citizens of this, we want to be there on Friday and Saturday. We let you know when teaching will be available. Your mandatory days are Sunday and Wednesday, tomorrow after Sabbath and Bible study. These letters, these times in blue, these are ancillary, and the one in the middle is a commandment for you personally. So the ministry would be in error if we made that a service. And you would be in error if you went ahead because you didn't see me on at this hour and you make it a study because, well, people be waiting on you to come on, Apostle, and you take too long to get on. So we're going to start our own program. We're going to start our own we're going to start our own thing. You're creating a monster. You don't want to do that because now the moment you say, well, if the Apostle don't come on at 11 p.m., we're going to do something at 10. That's premeditated. And then you're on at 10. That means you're serving. It's like you're opening a store. Does this make sense to y'all? Or y'all think I'm just tripping, screaming off the top of my head on my soap dish, on my soapbox?
It makes sense.
That makes sense.
Amen.
So if you're not just doing it out of the goodness, say, hey, y'all, I'm over here studying. It starts at 8:12 or it starts at 9:32, or I just popped up on, one of the platforms because y'all know y'all doing it on the Clubhouse, on that. And we do use Clubhouse because of that. So the moment you say, well, we're going to be here every day at 10 o'clock, we're going to be here every day at 5 o'clock, we're going to be here every day at 6 o'clock, every Sabbath, you are making service. You are making a church service. Because a place of study you had gotten familiar with on a weekly basis that happens periodically whenever I get released, because it's my personal time with the Father, and then he releases me and I'll share my studies with the world. You think that that's an actual service. And now because it's not there, because you've gotten used to your pastors giving you services and telling you to be there. We're not like that. You got 2 days to be here, y'all. Just 2 days to be a part of the citizenship. You got that on Sunday and Wednesday. These other days are ancillary, though edifying. But at the end of the day, the one in the middle, that is a command of Yahweh, your Elohim, and you don't have to be here for it. You can be in your own space. You don't leave your own home. You open your Bible. You learn how to study. But if you should find yourself drifting, then drift over here where the word is going to be taught. The moment you decide to say, well, the apostle's not here, I'm going to start a teaching series. You starting a teaching series is premeditated. You starting a teaching series is premeditated service. If you notice how we do on Sabbath, when we come into the Shabbat, we only teach you how to Shabbat. In teaching you how to Shabbat, we read the same passages redundantly, religiously, every week. Every time I open to the world to show how to keep focused on Torah, it's pretty much the same exact passages. Why? Because I don't come to teach you anything. We come on in the study so the word can teach us. So if you schedule a time that you're going to be there, our timing says, hey, usually I'm free around this time to study, and you can find me online at around this time-ish. But then people got to the point where they're like, oh, well, he ain't here. Where he at? I ain't going to be a part of this ministry. He don't even show up on time. Bye. because we never said it's a time. We say we avail ourselves around these times, and this is what that looks like. These are times you can find other additional studies to help fortify your relationship with the Father. But do not get it twisted. If you are a citizen of DKM, if you are a citizen of VWJ Ministries, you got Sunday and Wednesday as mandatory services, along with the 9 times in a year Yahweh has called the Moedim. That's your obligation. Sabbath, you don't work, and you're not to be served. So on a Friday, 11 p.m.-ish, Saturday, 11 a.m.-ish, I might come on at 1, I might come on at 10 a.m., I might come on at 1 p.m., I might come on Friday night at 12 midnight. You don't know when Yahweh releases me, and whenever I get released, then I open up my studies, because I'm going to be studying all day, all 24 hours. I don't mind y'all joining in if you find it hard for you to stay focused on the Torah, because you should be in your own personal study, in your own home with your Father, having a relationship. When that becomes something that is you're drifting, you have a place you can come to stay focused. And guess what? You'll still be in your own home. And guess what? You'll still be with a very solid study point and a resident theologian who is sharing from his personal studies. And you can tap in, even pick up ideas, and let Yahweh speak to us from his word. We use the same exact passages, because once you start reading those passages, thoughts come up, and then he cross-references you throughout the Bible. Questions come up. We go throughout the Bible, and we never come in wanting to talk about A, or wanting to talk about B, or wanting to talk about 1, or wanting to talk about 3, and telling you what you're going to study. We let those words of how we study and the questions associated to how we Sabbath begin to guide our conversation. And we let Ruach HaKodesh, guess what, y'all? Here it is. Drum roll, please. We let Ruach HaKodesh have his way. He guides us through the word. He helps us to answer our questions. So when you think that because Sabbath on Saturday and Friday, he ain't on time, because that's something you got to have, and then you say, well, what we going to do? We love him. We love how he teach. I mean, we can't get it no better, no deeper, no dynamic, but he don't be on time. You'll be sitting here waiting on him to come. If you sitting there waiting on me, you are already in disagreement and disobedience to the word. You're not waiting on me. You're supposed to be with him. If your time with him becomes where you're now drifting off and going other thoughts and ideas, and you want to turn the TV on and you find yourself on TikTok, or you find yourself on YouTube or on IG watching all these other things that are not of Elohim, are not of Torah, then you know that, you know, what apostle might be on, or, you know, a real solid Torah study, Torah observant group is on, and we can go and study with them and add value to our already growing life. But the moment you feel that, well, apostle ain't here, so we're going to start our own group at this time, because that's when people looking for him, and until he get here, we're going to start our own group. You have just set service. And because there is a growing issue with understanding what you're a part of, you need to learn how to finesse the word and finesse the times that he has given you to get to know him. So the moment you come in with Google study points and 18 bullet points you want to propagate, you want to share with the people, you want to tell them what they're doing. If you're doing that, you're teaching. If you're teaching, you're serving. There is a difference. So I want you guys to understand that as you pay attention to the obligations of what we're supposed to do. Zion, am I making sense, or y'all think I'm just ranting on my soapbox?
It makes sense, Apostle. Spencer.
And so you want to be very conscious and very careful of how and when you do that. So when the word of Elohim is going forward, guys, I mean it. If you don't ever show up, if I don't ever see you on Sabbath because you are in the word of Elohim, man, hallelujah. But it is fun how oh, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. I just want to be able to be an example and an end sample of how you study, how you Sabbath in practical life. That's why we're opening and we let our studies be seen on Saturday and or Saturday and Friday. I come in teaching you an itinerary on Sunday. I come in teaching you an itinerary on Wednesday. I may even do it on Thursday, but I let that be the Bible because people want to learn how to read the Bible, how to study the Bible, how to practice that before Sabbath comes in. So when you put yourselves in that position, and then our preceding word, that's another ancillary service that we do because of my global reach and who I am in other arenas. I take care of professionals, professional ministers, and I also take care of laity. And we talk about from law enforcement officers to issues within our Constitution, through struggles within our globe, through injustices. We talk about a myriad of things and how to deal with them as kingdom believers practically every day. You know, during the 6 days you have to work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath. So we teach you through the preceding word how to be a kingdom representative in this world gone mad. You don't have to come to that programming. You scroll through it like you scroll through your reels on any of your other applications and apps you view and you check out and you prefer. Your only obligation to citizenship here are the 9 Moedim and the 2 days, Sunday and Wednesday services. Your other days, these other things that we do online, because we are active every day except Tuesday. And it's not that I'm not active Tuesday. I'm just teaching pastors and leaders on those days. And that's private and marriages and counselings and family matters. But I'm teaching all day, every day. The only days you are responsible when you become a citizen of this ministry and this citizen of this ministry, which is where you fellowship at, those are the only 2 days you really are obligated. We expect to see you. If I don't see you on Sunday, I don't see you on Wednesday, I'm going to check on you. If I don't see you on Sabbath, that's between you and Elohim. So if you can find a way to keep yourself focused on him during Shabbat and focus in his word, Torah, during Shabbat, which is a difficult task that many will not own up to, then we can help with that. And the way we help is by just letting you hang out with us when I study and we study. It's free. There's no charge. None of this has a charge to it. You ain't got to put no code into no special place. You ain't got to pay no fee every month. These are invaluable teachings and shares and studies, but they are ancillary to your citizenship. This is mandatory to your relationship. So there seemed to be a bit of ambiguity with regard to that. We wanted to get that cleared up. I could have did it differently, but I was teaching this subject tonight, and suddenly some Ruach just said, shift it, switch it. So there you go. We switched it. We shifted it. Hope that you guys understand it. Hope no one is offended. Hope that you all see clearly now how it is we function, we operate. So y'all tell me real quick, when are your 2 days of mandatory, when are your days of mandatory citizen appearance? Wednesday and Sunday. What's the other days? The 9 Moedim. The 9 Moedim. Now, all these other things we do, I love to do every single solitary week. Preceding word, Bible book club, the Friday study and Saturday Sabbath studies. I love doing it. I love the word. I can't get enough of it. You are more than welcome to join in with me when we do, but they're never to be services on the Sabbath. And if you, because you got used to the Sabbath service we produced, now went ahead and started your own club as a substitute to fill in to help the church and help the people, you end up in sin. Can I make that any clearer? Yes, no, maybe so. All right. Hey, Pastor Spencer, I think I heard your voice in the background. What's going on?
Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, dear heart. We can't hear you. Speak up.
Okay, can you hear me?
Go ahead, dear heart. Talk to us.
Okay. I came in a little late.
Yeah.
And then you just gave a summary, so I appreciate that about the mandatory services. But I wanted to circle back to what you were saying about Shabbat and scheduling a set time.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there is not to be any teaching done on the Sabbath, but to schedule a certain time to study how to Shabbat or to read the Torah. Are you saying that that time should not be scheduled?
Once you put a schedule to it, what we found out, and again, you came in late, so I got to go back. I don't know if I can even do this, but for you, I'm going to do it. What we have in Sabbath, and if you're looking at the board, I'm going to erase these items off of here so everybody's got clarity and nobody's confused. All right, the command is Sabbath, right? What we realized over the few decades we've been doing this is that I'm usually free, and the me and him quiet time is like I usually get lifted around 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. or on Friday nights when Sabbath starts, I'll go into Sabbath around 7, 8, pray, get head right, become introspective, check through some things. And usually between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m., I'm lifted. But now I'll just start randomly studying through the Torah. I open that time up to whoever is trying to find something to study in the Torah. So I want to clear this phraseology up. To teach is going to happen when you are serving. That's where the problem comes in at, because you're not supposed to serve according to the Torah. So you don't want to serve on that day. Now, when you come in and say, well, we're going to learn this, that, and the other, and you have a set itinerary, you are now in teaching is going to happen whenever the Bible is opened up. So if you're sitting in a space with us and we open up the how to Shabbat, that is teaching. Nothing wrong with that. How to Shabbat, because some people don't know. You're teaching just by living. When you, in fact, make it a service, now you make it a service to people. I'm saying I come out to play. I come out to study typically around this time. So we're just going to say around this time, I'm free to study for those who can't keep focused. But what we have begun to do is we've begun to make our own rooms, which are fine, for the purpose of being a substitute to this. This is not a service. This is I'm out to play. Anybody want to play? Come on in. And there's no set agenda. The substitutes that are happening are, we're going to talk about this, and this. That's premeditated. That is a servicing element, and you got to be careful of it. Does that make sense, Pastor?
Somewhat. Because when you say we're coming together and we're going to talk about A, B, C, and D, so for Shabbat, in my mind, if we were to come together, like you said, we are going to talk about A, B, C, and D. We're going to talk about how to Shabbat. We're going to start with Genesis, Exodus, Isaiah. So those are set agendas, which may open up other doors,
correct,
avenues for us to study together. But we are remaining Torah, and we are remaining in Shabbat. So, just like we have the set time for Shabbat, We have the set time for the Moedim. The set time for a Shabbat room is not a replacement, but an enhancement to come together and talk about how do we Shabbat, or what did you think about this in Torah, or what does that mean? Again, I'm a little foggy about what.
Yeah, because you came late. So I'm going to ask you to go back and rewind and let it catch up to you, because right now it's a whole different vibe you're pushing. Here's what I want to make sure we're clear on. I love your life eternal, but I do know how that works, especially we've been doing everything all day. What we're saying is, in this, how Yahweh switched this from our program, we weren't even talking about this. He just shifted it and then said, go with this, and we're going to tell about it. So here's the catch. We're not talking about going into every week. For instance, let me clear the board so y'all can get this. So stay with me, Pastor. I want y'all to catch this. You know what your days are. You have every day we have Genesis 2, Exodus, what is it, 16, 20. Then we have Isaiah 58, right? Then we have what? Mark and Luke 3 and 6, or whatever that is, right? These are items that every Sabbath deal with how to actually exist in Sabbath, or the commandment for what we do in Sabbath. So we read these every single solitary week. What comes out of thought when reading the text and questions when reading the text is then where it goes and opens up new studies. So this is where we come together anytime. I do this personally. This isn't something I did for y'all. This is something I personally read every single solitary Sabbath at beginning. This is how I study. So this isn't me coming to teach y'all how to Sabbath. This is my personal reminder of how to Sabbath. These are the passages that lock in perpetually how to Sabbath for me. So once I'm done in my personal time with Yahweh, I literally go back over these passages. Not with an intention of A, B, C, and D. Now, what we found out over the years of doing this is that people said, you know, that makes sense. It helps me learn how to do it on my own. I said, that's exactly why it's there. And it helps me. This is what I personally do. This is what Apostle personally do before I met any of you ever in life. You don't even know me. I didn't know you. You didn't know me. This is how I keep Sabbath every Sabbath. I read these passages at least 3 times in a day. So when I stop from my first study, I come back from my second study, I go into, we are not supposed to do this. That's how I keep that command in my head. That's how I know these passages without looking them up in the Bible. So when people would come in, I say, well, guys, here's what I do. But what happens is you start doing it so much, it just becomes a real quick normal role. So people are like, oh, well, you're teaching us. No, this is actually what I do. This is teaching me. I'm sharing the word that's teaching me with you. You're seeing it teach me, and you're incorporated. You're included. So it's not like I just came up with this. These are the passages that have taught me how to Shabbat and the essence of Shabbat. And they have benefited my ability to keep the commandment of Shabbat in my private time. And when I come out of my private time with him, and I open up, I start right here. But the way it can be misconstrued, because we're so used to when the pastor opens the Bible or when the preacher opens a service, they say, y'all turn here and do this. And we automatically think it's a service. It's not. This is just the way I do. Hey, here we go. Y'all, my services, my studies are open to y'all. So this is how I do it. Come on, I'm going over here. And I go and I start studying, and it starts speaking to me, and I start getting questions, and we start talking about this. We might not ever make it down to Luke. because we're going to probably end up staying only to where the prophets of Torah are. But it will give us cross-referencing from perspective of Torah into Brit Hadassa, into Tanakh, and then we start to see the Bible in a different light, and that is the beauty of Shabbat and the revelations you get. So this isn't me saying, okay, y'all, we're going to do this. This is, I just share with you guys how I actually study it. This is literally how I didn't prepare this for y'all. That's the difference. What I'm seeing in these spaces is that we're going to prepare things so that we can speak to people about what we think God is doing and what God has said, instead of letting his word tell us what he's saying. So that is what I'm addressing very directly. Does that make sense, Pastor?
I appreciate that, Apostle. Thank you. I want to apologize because I realize I just did what I feel like other people doing. They come into the room late and they go, well, what about this? And I should have just said, I'll listen to the replay. But thank you.
No.
For explaining that. I appreciate it.
No, you are a heart of my heart. So you already know. And these are where we come to what we have to do. And you're right, we do it. I've done it. Matter of fact, I left a room today where I came in. I said, you know what? Hold up. Before I say something, can y'all tell me what we talk about? Because I see the title. The title got me. But the conversation I'm hearing right now, I'm gonna address it. But wait a minute, what's the room? What can somebody reset the room for me? And that is something that people do. Especially in our rooms, and all of us have experienced it. If you've been a part of any of our Sabbath worship, they come in, they hear a sound bite, and then they like, well, the Bible don't say that, and why you not reading the Bible, and why you not doing this, and why you not doing that, and your pastor's lying to y'all. And you're like, bro, we've been here for 8 hours. You just you just came in. I think this weekend we had somebody's what go ahead, Minister Wanda.
No, I'm just saying, yeah, we've been here like 8.6 hours, and you just came in 30 minutes ago.
You came in 30 minutes ago.
I know, but I just want to apologize to the room.
No, not you. You a pastor. You with me. I got your back. You ain't did nothing wrong. You forever with me. Don't you worry about that. What happened was Yahweh used it for an opportunity to be very clear, because that means that I wasn't clear. So thank you for being stumbled up into usage.
And someone else had the same question, Apostle, so it was necessary.
Exactly. When I know your heart is real towards the ministry, you're not just coming in to antagonize. You want clarity, and you deserve that. That's what the ministry is all about. And today we can teach that, because today is a day that we do in ministry, our service. Do you guys understand this?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Y'all better thank Pastor Spencer too.
Thank you, Pastor Spencer. Hold on. Yahweh be praised.
So just remember, guys, just because you see something doesn't mean it's what you think you're seeing, because there have been the issues where I've had to go into situations and stop certain situations because people are thinking, well, you're not here, so we're going to start talking over here. And then I get there, I might drop in and say, okay, well, great, they're having a study. And it's not a study. Y'all having a testimony service about corn, whether you should fry it or pop it. Do you use jalapenos, or do you use ghost peppers? Literally, a recipe was being discussed. In this time, you only speak Elohim's word. Now, unless what you're speaking as a testimony is a derivative of the word, meaning an analogy from a point you just stumbled up on and you're getting revealed, perspective is being granted, that's different. I'm going into rooms and one person starts to testify. Have y'all going to admit this to me? Has anybody ever gone into a space, a testimonial service, and one person testifies about one thing, and then the next person has to top this story? And then the next person got, yeah, and I had the same thing happen to me in 1942. I had a bunion on my left toe, child, and it was hurting me so bad, and I cried, Jesus. And when I got done crying, Jesus, that bunion left my left foot and jumped on my right big toe. And I was like, what is going on? I plead the blood. And then somehow while I was doing this, Johnny came downstairs, and I was sitting there and trying to be with God, and he knocked over my glass of milk on the counter. Next thing you know, my foot got in the milk on the counter, and I got a revelation out of that. And God started showing me from the white milk on this bunion that was hurting me on my right toe. It started on my left foot, and Jesus wasn't answering my prayer, and he put that milk down there, and he told me to take a milk bath. Y'all don't remember them services? That's the kind of stuff I'm hearing in these rooms that are attached to this ministry. So when you do that attached to this ministry, and people should stumble up on that, and they know you're a part of this, they think this is that. And I can't have that. And then you wonder why your viewership and everything goes down, because people who had been, and then you did, and then they say, oh, well, they with them. Oh, let's go rock over here with that. And then they get there like, what in the ham sandwich? And that's how they get down, because they with him or they with them. And this what they do. I thought, yeah, nah, we gonna leave that room alone. We're gonna leave that ministry alone. And people don't realize how that affects perception. So if you're here in this citizenship, here are the days and times that we are mandatory. Don't think you need to make replacement services because you thought the Sabbath service was a service. You thought the Sabbath study of my personal time was a service that you were obligated to be at and you couldn't miss. And you could start saying, I apologize for not being at the Sabbath service. I wasn't there, yada, yada. That ain't it, dear heart. You better be with Yahweh. I'm just here in case you find it hard to stay focused. You got a place that can keep you focused, because we're just studying. You ain't got to say nothing. You can be a wallflower on the wall, but there'll be a study going on if you want to get in, and keep your head focused. Keep your mind stayed on him who keeps you in perfect peace. Those that know what that means, you get it. Those that don't, you do. All right. But anybody get the milk on the toe revelation? Nobody got the foot in the milk.
And you break that down for the ones of us in the back.
Well, what happened was the milk was fresh in a cup on the top of the table. So when they were laboring in prayer from the fourth watch of the night, and when Jimmy got up, it was 7 a.m. and her bunion on her left foot was hurting her on her pinky toe. But when she said Jesus like that, for some reason, it switched to her big toe on her right foot. But when Jimmy came downstairs hearing her say Jesus, he came to see if mom was all right because she was bent over the counter praying. And then he hit the milk that was there from 4 o'clock, which had soured by now because it was out and the air conditioner wasn't on. So the milk wasn't in a copper cup. It was in a plastic cup. So it got hot real fast. And then it started molding. So when that cup fell over, her foot was now drenched in this cup of milk. And then her toe went inside of it. And she got a revelation that she got to be clean because that was moldy milk going on her toe, which was infirmed. And that wasn't the blood. And then she learned that she needed to weep and wail. That's the breakdown.
Voila.
Shabba ding dong. Glory. That's it. Guys, we're just having fun. I think that's what we love about the ministry. We just have fun. But did anybody get a revelation from that? So I'm not going to preach it next week. Y'all going to hear about spoiled milk. I promise you. Y'all going to hear about big toe and spoiled milk. Just watch the clubhouse streets. I promise you. All right, everybody, I got to get out of here. But listen, we got some things to do. Did y'all enjoy that? Was that okay? Did y'all understand that? Those of you who are citizens of this Kingdom Post, do you have clarity?
Yes. Amen. Yes.
So if you don't show up on Sabbath to the Sabbath study that is really basically mine, you're good. You're not, oh, Apostle, I apologize for not being there. We're not supportive. You're not supporting me. You better be with the Father. I'm just saying I'm usually on. And if y'all want to hang out, we hang out. But Sunday, you ain't here, I'm checking on you. Wednesday, I'm checking on you. And that's all tomorrow after Sabbath. And you can do that from the comfort of your home. You don't have to get dressed. You don't even have to brush your teeth.
Well, no, you gotta brush your teeth.
I don't know, but Pastor,
I'm gonna need them to
brush their teeth.
Well, you having people over is what you trying to say? I don't understand what.
No, but no.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Yahweh don't want to be smelling all that.
You know what? I believe in that. When I get up, the first thing I do is I say hallelujah and excuse me. And I go right to the bathroom, gargle and brush my teeth, and then I come back and say, now where were we? I might even jump in the shower. That's holy. Ashata. He loved cleanliness. I promise you. All right, guys, having fun. Father, we thank you for the time. We thank you for the word. We ask you to bless these, your people, as we move forward in these things of you. We now trust that your purpose and plan for us was to understand something we had not realized was necessary to understand. So we ask that your purpose in this be glorified and not just some rant and what have you. Thank you. Thank you for the questions that came. Thank you for the hearts of those questions that came. And thank you for the heart of teaching and love those answers to those questions. Bless now, we pray you our time as we move forward and we prepare for tomorrow's study. We ask you to start guiding us in the Bible Book Club tomorrow as to what we need to know. When we come back next week to talk about part 6 again of this element of tour of duty, we ask you to give us that reveal, show us that strength. In the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we all say and pray. Amen. All right, everybody, we got a little announcement for you guys to pay attention to. I hope you'll join in to this announcement. Keep it in your forefronts of your head and your hearts as Yahweh is the Thank you for tuning in today. I hope that this message has been a blessing to your very life and your soul, and more importantly, your walk with the King. Well, we have come to the end. I hope that you would consider becoming either a partner with us in ministry, or if you're not already a kingdom citizen, consider becoming one. By doing that, you can sow into this ministry so that we are able to continue to teach this type of ministry at a grand scale. Join us on all of our social media platforms and visit our webpage to make your contributions sure. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Shalom Aleichem. My profile, there should be a contributions tab in Clubhouse. Hit it. You're sending it to a 501c3 entity, which is VWJ Ministries and Garage Kingdom Ministries, and you will be in compliance with what Yahweh wants of you to do. Let's dismiss from this place and hopefully not from his presence. Put your palms to the ceiling, hands in front of your chest like you're expecting Yahweh to pour out blessing you don't have room to receive. Here is the prayer Yahweh told Moshe to pray over those who comply. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face to shine on you and be gracious upon you. May Yahweh lift his countenance upon you and grant you all 13 attributes of his shalom. Bring your hands back to your chest and say, I receive that in the matchless name of Yeshua HaMashiach, who is our Savior, who is our King. We bless him forevermore. All right, everybody. Looking forward to seeing you again soon. Yahweh be praised in all things done and spoken.
Let's talk kingdom. He's the one you can lean on. He don't change, he stays the same. Won't find a better reason, no. So come tap in, just listen. And bring a friend, let's spread this vision. Let's talk kingdom. He's the one you can lean on. He don't change, he stays the same. Won't find a better reason, no. So come tap